The champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
All right, man. I took up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he's the EB of the show, and you know what we're about to do, man. We're just going to jump right into this live, man. So I'm going to start bringing them in the room. MH, if you can shout them out when you see them out, and let's just get it going, man. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Do it.
E. Pat, Blake Star,
Yo,
Birdie Ebb, Little Bro, Brandon, Bobby Stills, man. How y'all doing?
What's going on?
what's happening? My spot.
Let's go. Live crowd tonight. Everybody ready and trying to jump in. Did I get everybody in? All right, man. So, hey, let's not act shy, man. Let's get right into it, man. Anything anybody want to express on their heart? What's on to say with your chest?
I'm just ready for Luka to come back. You know, the Mavs have been doing good. You know, Jalen had a great game. Kleber's finally hitting his shots, so they're just biting the time. So once Luka comes back, it's a wrap. I think we'll get it out there in 6.
I just want to know when what time the Knicks play?
30. Shots fired.
We in the new season. We on the next season.
Okay, I was waiting on the. I didn't know that. Y'all in the NIT?
Yeah, we working on something, man. We getting something together. We had some of the executives out for the Mavericks game. Make sure we get our scouting right. You know, see what's going on with the Mavericks and the Jazz. We've got a couple players that we liking, so I'll be back.
Good.
So you think Mavericks in 6, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Does Luka play, or do you think?
I think he
done
plays.
for.
I mean, they said that sprain it's like an intermediate sprain, right? So, like, there's 3 levels to that type of sprain or something like that. The first level is like you're out 7 days, and then the next level is 7 to 10 days, and then it's like 2 weeks is the third level. And they don't believe he has a third level sprain. So, the second level, and it's been about a week, right? Like, so maybe a little.
So you got the
Eric, you sound like you on the medical staff.
I was just going to say that. You on the training staff?
I got an inside man. You know, I got an inside man. So got them connections.
All right, Mavs in 6. You had Mavs in 6.
Mavs in 6.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I hope so.
I mean, if they're playing like that, especially if the team is rallying the way they've been, or the way they did last game. I mean, the first game was close. It was like a 6-point loss. But Kleber has been hot and cold, mainly cold for like 2 years. So for him to step up and hit those 8 threes, that's like the most in his career or something like that. So,
Like, Star, you want to say them about them Cavs, man?
Next season, man. I mean, nobody thought they'd be there, man. Nobody thought they'd be there. So the fact that they made any type of move, I did quit watching that game against the Hawks. I was messing around. I was like, man, I had some company. I'm like, I'm gonna go tend to the company, and they was up 14. I said, yeah, we got it. I said, we're gonna put up a good fight, and found out later we will not be fighting anybody. It's all good. Nobody expected that.
Yeah, I mean, in any case, I didn't see them beating, the Heat. I don't see Atlanta getting 2 games against the Heat. I think it'll beat them in 5.
I don't think they're gonna get one. That's got to be a sweep.
I'm with you. I don't think they get a single dub at all.
Who don't?
Hawks.
Yeah.
They don't get a dub?
Yeah.
I think so either.
I
think they might catch game 3 at home. I think I could see them catching game 3 at home.
Y'all don't see Trae Young?
No, I think Trae Young is gonna ball out. But Miami, they're deep.
Yeah, if you got background noise, mute your mic.
I will say this.
So
though, I
where-
think this playoff has been like the playoff setup and the playoff teams has been the most interesting in 8 years. It's very interesting. The games have been good so far. Very close.
So who we liking? Let's put some bold predictions on it. Let's go ahead and who we liking in this playoffs from what we've seen.
Milwaukee.
I mean, I'm on that same accord, right? I mean, you got to beat the champs. Right?
You got to
So-
beat the champs. You got to
Yeah.
beat the champs. Hey, Giannis,
I got the Nets. I got the Nets coming out of the East.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a bold one.
I don't know about that.
yeah, you from
Man,
you from
something-
New York or something like that?
Good.
No.
Celtics look good.
I think when they get rolling.
I mean,
I don't think-
I understand they playing the Nets, but they ain't no brush over. I mean, you call it how you want to call it, but I call they got that W.
Mhm.
They definitely got that W.
All right. Well, I'm with y'all, man. I'm thinking Giannis. I don't know about the Nets. Kyrie got too many
I mean,
personalities.
you had Kyrie and Durant, playing high level ball, and Boston still pulled that off.
Yep.
And they made a lot of mistakes. It could have been
I don't think Durant played.
worse.
I don't think Durant played.
They was
high-level
up
ball
on
in that one.
Hey Bobby, is Ben Simmons coming back?
Hey, he ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing. He might come back. Yeah,
They
he'll
said he
get you
coming
a
back.
solid 1 point and
And
maybe
defense.
get 10 minutes of run.
And
Yeah,
defense.
he ain't in shape. He ain't in shape.
No,
They
He
said
ain't
he
in shape
coming
at all.
back.
And then
He
want to
can come
be on
back.
the side with bright
He can
green
come back. He
outfit.
cannot do NBA ball.
Ebony,
I don't
what'd
know
you
if y'all
say?
can see and hear me, but it's all about them Suns. I don't know if y'all can see the name, but
Yeah, he'll be there.
That's fair.
Suns.
Nah,
That's
the
fair.
Suns is balling.
Towns is balling.
Now that may change the game when Simmons get out there. He's a real deal, man.
It's all
No,
about
he
them
is
Suns.
back.
Nice to meet
How
everybody
many-
in here.
No,
By
he
the
back.
way,
Oh,
Nice to
man,
meet you.
too.
Yeah.
How far you think Suns and,
Y'all better
and
put some
Golden State
respect
go?
on Benjamin's name.
I can see that going game
He
7.
played all year.
Little bro, what you think?
Milwaukee for sure. Until I see somebody stop Giannis, that's gonna be in a 7-game series. That's a hard feat there, man. Now he developed a jump shot. It is scary, and he's shooting it willingly too. It's not even the thing that he's kind of shooting like a bailout. He's hitting game tying shots with it and everything, so it's comfortable. So I feel like Milwaukee is the real deal. And whoever said Brooklyn, that's questionable. They got to play some defense. And their coach has to coach. Gosh, he's awful.
Man, it's not a coaching issue right
Their
now. It ain't been a coaching issue.
It's time to coach basketball, and he's not the one to do it. So
Their problem ain't been coaching.
until they find someone that can draw some X and O's and strategize, they not gonna be
You
it.
can't
Not this year.
strategize with a squad. You can't strategize with a squad that doesn't have 3 of their top guys.
I agree with that. I
Like
think
they
it's
haven't.
personnel.
Man, bro, you couldn't get Pop to coach the squad and do well.
No, you can't. But they also got one of the guys on their team that's gonna ruin everybody who's in every locker room. So he's not gonna win no championships unless he got LeBron on his team. So, the ultimate coach.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
So until somebody is fathering Kyrie the correct way, I don't know if
Not
them boys
fathering.
gonna win some shit. They gonna outscore everybody. Them boys is talented, but it take a whole lot to win championships.
Yeah.
They nice
Yeah,
though.
they're
They
big.
nice,
They're
but
gonna be
I
hurting
don't. They're not gonna get out this series. This Boston series. That's the real deal series right there. And
can
whoever
somebody
wins that
comment on
next,
my Suns?
whoever
How
wins
y'all
the
feel
next
about my Suns
series,
coming out the West?
yeah, they're not competing with nobody out there. West is.
I mean, Golden State looks straight now.
So we don't get
With
no props because there's somebody in the West. I'm confused.
with their death lineup, yeah, they look all right.
Golden State look all right now.
Yeah.
Golden State looks solid.
I don't think there's anybody else to consider in the West, but
they are playing.
Golden
They
State.
need
handicap.
they need Mark Jackson. I think he could get them together.
Who need Mark Jackson?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Oh, Golden State. I could agree with that.
That's Mark's squad. That's his squad.
Mark Jackson's not coaching.
No.
Yeah, they might not.
All right,
They
so
might not.
that brings up a topic that I want to talk about, right? So we're talking about coaches. The Lakers are in need of a coaching situation, and he was definitely one of the names that was brought up. Him and then who was the other one that was like a front runner they were talking about? Your boy from the Toronto Raptors. Who y'all think should come? Who could handle that, right? Because they got a whole shit show going on out there.
A lot of drama.
Who the hell like would be the person?
I would have to say somebody like Mark Jackson or Phil Jackson. Yeah, Tito Jackson. I don't think a coach is an issue for real. I don't think a coach is an issue. Yes, again, personnel.
Yeah.
So hold on, boardroom personnel.
Go in there and tell them, like, somebody be like, listen, I need y'all to get your lives together. They need somebody that's gonna come in there, say it, and they're gonna respect
Mark Jackson.
That's what it is. They need a coach that they're gonna respect, not
Mark
somebody
Jackson.
they can run over.
But can they even make moves? Like they have a
Right.
salary cap issue.
That's
I
my
don't
thing.
think they can.
Yeah,
pick up
you can
nobody.
It's personnel. It's personnel. It's not coaching.
Yeah.
Personnel.
We all know the coach is Coach LeBron.
You got enough for everybody, man. You
So in other words,
up, man.
what we saying is, you take them off.
Hey man, I gotta eat, man.
Put them on the bench.
Gotta eat.
We just need to switch his title. That's what we saying.
Yeah, just put him in the court. Put him on the bench.
Let's put him on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, he's better over here.
Yeah, LeBron. Yeah.
It's time.
Here's a suit for you. Got you a brand new suit. So just let him lock that for the rest of the season. We straight.
So we can finally agree. I'm glad we said this. So now we can finally agree that LeBron in his wizard years, MJ wizard years. I'm glad we
I can't agree with that. I can't agree.
Like he's still balling, bro.
Hey, I like LeBron, bro. He cannot keep up with these young bucks. He can't do it.
Good
He
grief.
cannot keep up with it. Not for 82 games.
I mean, the man did average 30 this year.
There's no one keeping up 82 games. Kawhi Leonard's going to be a playoff player for the rest of his career. Like, you don't get paid to play 82 games anymore. You get paid to play in April. LeBron is still playing.
Memphis is running.
He's playing high quality
But they
basketball.
just won a title 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's still playing high quality basketball when he's playing. You don't got to play 82 games nowadays.
You want a title?
I'm just saying, man.
You can get away with playing 30 and you straight. As long as your team in the playoffs, you in good shape nowadays.
That's real.
Paul George is better come out playoff P out of nowhere. He's just better come out just about to bring the Clippers to the promised land.
You think Ballmer keeps Kawhi
playing?
Yeah, why wouldn't he keep Kawhi? You think he'd get rid of him?
Yeah, no, you got that guy.
Bruh. 2 years.
You know
now?
something? You gotta
2
look
years?
at you. You know something that I don't?
Hey,
That we don't know?
He just spent all that loot for a dude to sit on the bench and is
But
not
that's-
sure when he's gonna come back. Like he paying dough for them boys.
You can't trade him
Man,
now.
dude.
You can't get rid of him now.
Hey, LBJ's the truth.
Can't get rid of him now. Ain't no reason to just jump ship because he ain't playing. Now I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't
LeBron
know
knows
what's
some
wrong with the dude. Like what is actually wrong with Kawhi Leonard? I don't even know, but he just ain't played. And
Playoff player. He's a playoff player. He'd have came back if they'd made the
I
playoffs.
don't even know. It's been so long ago.
Name an injury. Blake,
His
I'm with
ACL's
you.
torn.
It's
What
been so
y'all
long
want to
ago.
do?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember what happened to the fella, man. I just said
What
it's been
y'all-
2 years and
Y'all
I
want
don't got nothing to say about Kawhi.
shoot, Paul George tore came back this year. I don't know what he tore. He tore something, but shoot, I mean, he came back and played. This dude, I ain't seen. I forgot Kawhi was even playing. Shoot, but don't get rid of him. Ain't no reason to get rid of him, for real. So,
But injuries in the NBA, man. I wanted to bring up this topic because I had a heated lunch debate about this today. What do we feel about Zion? Ebony, I want to start. Ebony, I want to hear what you got. What we think about Zion.
Besides the fact that he need to lose some weight.
Wow. That man could have a thyroid issue, man.
we fat shaming.
What does that have to do?
Yeah, we're fat shaming.
That's not what it is. I mean, the way that those boys have to run, okay, all that extra weight that he got don't help. It's just like a couple others that came into the league the same way. It's like, listen, you got to drop some of that. You can't run like that.
Especially if he's already like so injury prone so early in his career.
And you're more prone to injuries like that.
Yeah.
This is the NBA. This ain't college no more.
Like Shaq was built like that. Zion is not.
You have
he only played 1 year
to put your body through a certain amount of strain. It's different again when you go from collegiate to NBA. Different schedule, different requirements, and if you can't get your body right, then I mean, what you gonna do?
It's like 50 more games.
You got to bring it down. Let's be real. That's what he signed up for. So do what you need to do. Get your weight right, so you can get out there and do what you're supposed to be doing. Like, that's what it is.
Man got his hand up. He can't wait. What you got, C. Hayes?
I'm just trying to figure out, is this something that Zion, like, is this not natural weight? Like, I think Zion, this is comfortable weight. Like, I think he's been playing as a big body his whole career. Like, I don't really think the weight is an issue. I really don't think the weight is an issue.
Man, I don't know, man. The way he looked in that Sprite commercial, man. Whoever had
if the weight's the issue, I swear the Pelicans just had a video of that man doing a 360 windmill like 2 days ago. The weight's not the issue.
He did.
The boy can play at 260. He's been doing it his whole life. Like, so
can he sustain?
He ain't 260.
I don't know how much he weighs, but like I said about everybody else in the NBA, he's not happy in New Orleans. The boy probably he's been healthy the whole year. He's been healthy about the whole year. He's trying to injure himself out of his way. The New Orleans Pelicans front office don't have communication with whoever he's dealing with. Like, they've been saying that all year. Like, oh, we don't know what that man doesn't want to be there. He'll be in New York whenever his contract, whenever he can, and that's it. That's just the new way of the land. Like, I don't think if there was something wrong with him, I don't think that dude would be jumping like he was the other day.
He weighs 285.
But do you want to take a chance on somebody that's not playing? You don't know what he's going to do when he get on the court with you and your team. Like, what does that say about his work ethic?
His stats did show what he did when he was on the court, though. I'll take those chances.
Was that last?
Again, like, so that's with Michael Porter Jr. situation. He slipped I don't know, he slipped late first round because people are so questionable with his back. Granted, he's not playing right now because his back, but it is what it is. It's part of the nature of the game. Like, dudes are going to get injured. I mean, it's on the potential versus.
Yeah, but
I think he went to the wrong organization.
That's why I think too. He was uncomfortable from the get-go.
Yeah, he's not in a situation where he has guys that can help develop him. I don't think he has good NBA training. He doesn't
no vets in the locker room. Well, McCollum's in there now, but like
that's the only good thing. McCollum,
Brandon Ingram was the big boy in the locker room when Zion got drafted. He was still learning NBA landing himself. So I think Zion's perfectly fine. I'm one of those guys that is like super still high on him. Whenever he does play again, I believe he's going to be right back, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, I think he's still going to be exactly where he was at." A guy shooting 60-some% from the field, that you can't. That doesn't go anywhere.
It's an issue with him and management because, like, now that's what the whole thing. Like, his father and saying is like, "Look, I'm ready to play." That's why he did that dunk. He's like, "Look, I'm ready to get on the court." It's them holding me back for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's being a little extra with, likes. I think everybody he is an overtime baby, right? So he's a YouTube sensation too. So I do think he cares about likes. So I think part of the reason why he's doing all that 360 is he know that's about to be trending. He's been out of the limelight.
We're not talking about Odell Beckham's dad here, so I kind of disagree with that. But I hear what you're saying, though.
Yeah, but let me get to my point. I'm all with y'all
y'all tripping. Y'all.
I'm all with y'all on Zion. I think he's legit. I think simply he's just been hurt. A man's foot's been broke, so he can't run. So that's probably why he holds a little bit more weight than he normally does. I just think it's real simple.
Hey, Alex with the BMI down there though.
I'm dead.
Yeah,
but BMI doesn't count for muscle.
Yeah, and I don't trust that. I don't trust that game cast controller anyway. I don't trust that thing.
You don't trust what?
The game cast controller. Whatever they hold to test your BMI.
The Nintendo thing.
I don't trust that. Like, how you what? Nah, I do think he's too big, but I think it also, like you said, goes back to management because somebody should have. So he should have a a chef cooking up, you know what I'm saying, the right things all the time. Like ain't nobody monitoring his McDonald's trips. Like
Yeah,
he
but
is down in New Orleans.
What way was he? What way was he playing?
And
He's
all
a
of that food.
professional. Why did somebody have to tell him to do that?
I
Like, if
mean,
you want
he's
to
still
be
a
the best,
kid.
he's still a kid.
be
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there
he's
and
still
be the
young.
But you got to think about it like this, right?
He's
He's the
still
star of that
19-year-old.
organization.
They don't
Like,
know
You would
this
think
stuff.
that him being the star of that organization, the Pelicans would do anything and everything to
But
ensure
he
that
needs
he
to take
has.
some responsibility for himself,
But you
his
got these
career.
kids
You can't
that are
be
just
out here.
coming straight out of college.
It's management. You his parents, you his agent, you his this, you his that. Y'all need to say, listen, you need to get on your game and do what you're supposed to be doing, so that when
But I
we get look, when
agree.
you out there, other people want you. Like
But
right
nobody-
now, what are you doing?
But nobody knows that in his camp. He doesn't know that.
Right.
Like nobody has been around him that's been NBA level talent. They've always been. He's always been inside of that.
But you don't
the
have to be
ACC.
NBA level talent to understand what you need to do to get yourself forward in the league, to get yourself forward in anything.
Yeah.
You
I
have
don't
to
think
put
it's that
forth
easy.
effort yourself to make sure that you are able to perform at the level that is expected. It's
We
not
know
like
that.
it's
We know that.
you
know
got
that.
social media, you got TV. You can't tell me this boy don't know what he's supposed to do in order to keep himself in shape, healthy. and
I'm saying yes.
There are
I
too
think
many people
I
that
don't
have
think
come
there's enough
before
out there.
him that have laid a blueprint. Okay, let's go. We can talk about, you can say what you want about LeBron, but everybody knows how much money that man spends to keep his body in shape. You mean to tell me he can't get no recommendations from nobody? But come on, y'all need to stop letting them off the hook. Like, it's okay for him to just be
No, I'm not saying that's okay.
Other stuff.
I'm saying when it comes down to like execution, there's nobody in this camp that's waking him up every day.
Right.
LeBron has somebody
Exactly.
wake him up 2 times a night.
And
Like
again,
somebody
then
is tapping
he needs
him,
to-
like get up.
Then he needs
Go ahead and
to
take
change
the
his
water.
I wonder how
surroundings.
much he makes.
All
He
right,
need to
all right.
change his
I'm gonna.
surroundings.
You know what? I think that is part of the issue, but I think part of the issue is that the organization from when he started, rookie year, he was on a minutes restriction. Let this dude play, man. Just let him play. Zion was a try-hard guy all through college, all through high school. He was a guy that just played. And because the organization came in a little hurt, they want to say, you're our investment for 15 years. We need you to eat all these green drinks and smoothies. Like, let this dude eat cornbread, what he's been doing, and let him play. I think they got to take the training wheels off, dude, and let him play. That's what I think half the issue is. And that's another problem with Cam Newton. We'll get to Cam Newton, but that was his problem. When he stopped eating meat, he stopped playing well. Boy, eat some meat. Stop messing around. Eat some meat. Trying to be vegan. He can't throw the ball no more.
Listen, Alex said pay him millions. He be eating broccoli for a month, man. And I do think like, the diet is part of it, right?
Everybody's body don't react the same to every food, though. Everybody's body's different. Maybe
If you pay me millions of dollars, I'm gonna make sure my body's reacting.
Okay, Ocho Cinco.
Everybody body react the same to Big Mac.
Ocho's on that McDonald's, isn't he?
But for real, like
McDonald's every day.
Zion is a freak. The dude is 290 pounds jumping like that. So his body's not like everybody else's body anyway.
True.
So
and people have those diets, right?
Yeah, maybe celery don't work
Metcalf
for
says,
him.
he eats his candy. He eats 1 meal a day and candy all day. Did y'all see that shit?
Oh yeah, I just
He's
yeah,
a fucking freak. Like, I'm like, how you only eat
I have
candy?
1 full meal a day.
But
One
again,
full meal a day and candy.
Everybody don't react well to celery.
That when you're on a collegiate schedule versus that when you're on an NBA schedule is 2 different schedules, 2 different requirements.
Fair point.
When you start bringing these children into the league, again, we can go back to his camp, but he got an agent. His agent need to be putting in some work.
Man, his agent won't keep his job.
The agent ain't
His agent
doing
won't
that.
keep his job.
That's their money.
Is his dad, is his family the agent represent, or does he have an agent?
I thought it was his dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was his dad, right?
They're in the more the problem.
That's bad parenting.
Lamar Jackson still don't got it. Lamar Jackson don't have an agent.
I mean, they need to ground that man.
His mom is killing it though.
I don't know about killing it. I don't know about killing it. I wouldn't say killing it.
Why? Hold on. Why not?
How many we've seen Baker Mayfield in a lot of commercials. We don't see Lamar Jackson in commercials. I don't think
But that's not his mama's fault. That's a whole issue, white America. That ain't got nothing to do with.
This is Lamar Jackson. This is an MVP.
Lamar Jackson is not camera friendly, man. I love
it. So now he's ugly. We didn't say he's ugly.
I did not say that.
Now Lamar Jackson's ugly. What I'm saying is he needs to be he's a guy that you can recognize outside of his helmet. And for him not to have the commercials that Baker Mayfield held, I think that's a problem, personally. I do the way that he plays, I don't think his career is as long standing as other quarterbacks. I think it's a problem.
You talking about Tim Tebow?
Of course, Ross comes in hot with Tim Tebow.
Here we go. Here go the disrespect.
Disrespect is coming.
Go lay on that beach, man.
So I don't know, man. I think his mom is doing a good job, and I think that she's fighting and battling something else with why he's not like a face and all of that. I mean, hell, they called him a running back coming out of coming out the game.
He's the MVP. Even more, he's the MVP. He's on the cover of. Was he on the cover of Madden?
Yeah.
This is a real dude. This ain't Cordell Stewart. All due respect, like this is a real guy. This is a real guy.
Kaepernick made it to the Super Bowl, so it's like
this is I think there's some some representation things that need to happen. My opinion.
If Marshawn Lynch can get on these commercials, I don't see why Lamar Jackson can't.
Facts.
Like Lamar Jackson is like Miles said, he's that dude. Like he's that guy. He's not.
Man, that's charisma though. I don't know much.
That's a Cal grad. West Coast guy. He's well spoken too.
Yeah, he got charisma. Everybody likes Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody likes that dude.
People like to hear a little country every now and then too, man. It's good. It's good to hear a little bit of Palmetto Beach, Florida, every now and then too on the commercials. You can hear that too.
Nah, but I do think his Zion's dad is not helping the issue, so we'll see where that's going. All right, man. Just to switch it up a little bit. Award season. Anybody? We're still on basketball, but just what are your thoughts about some of the hardware that's been handed out and who should get it? They did what Defensive Player of the Year. I know we got the MVP. So what are thoughts on that?
I think
and then B crying saying that only reason he doesn't get it is because no one likes him.
You know who I thought the MVP should have been, which ain't popular? I thought it should have been Devin Booker.
That's
I
fair.
think he had the most impact on the team that performed the best. I think Joker put up record numbers. I get it. Embiid did a great job. I get it. But the impact that Devin Booker had, I think, is a part of the reason why they're looking at a chip.
I would think Chris Paul is way more of an MVP, even though, okay. All right, let me take that back. Devin Booker is MVP status, but Chris Paul is the cog to that team.
True.
Like period, point blank. Period, point blank. I think that he makes Devin Booker play a lot better. And I mean, he's close. He's close, but I also think the Suns got a good enough team. You know what I'm saying? That that's just a good team. Devin Booker is balling. But if I had to go MVP, I would probably say Embiid or Joker. You know what I'm saying? If I had to pick, I don't even know which one, but I mean, Joker's numbers are dumb. You know what I'm saying? Dumb.
Yeah.
Man, but Embiid's in the East, which is a little bit tougher, I think.
Me living in Boston, I want to first get a shout out to Marcus Smart. Player of the year out here. Yeah, that boy representing. But I don't think it's a question. Those three guys that they have for the candidates is Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Embiid. You take all three of those guys off their team, they're not even competing. So especially Jokic. Bones Highland's their second best player, so it's not
right. Right. Yeah, shout out to Marcus Smart too, though. For a guard, was it the first guard to win it since like '98 or something like that?
Since Gary Payton, right?
Gary, right?
Yeah. That's an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? So shout out that fella, man.
And I'm glad they stopped giving it to Gobert too. So that's good. Stop giving it to Gobert. He did. Stop giving it to him. Give it to somebody else.
I mean, so how do we quantify that? How many times you can win? Because it's just me. LeBron can be MVP every year, but they got to spread it out. You know what I'm saying? Got to spread it out. People get tired of seeing the same person win and whatnot. Or, what them two Steve Nash got. I don't know if he should have been MVP them 2 years, but they had to stop giving it to the same person over and over again. So I feel you on that.
I feel, and that's why I actually think Giannis should be the MVP again. I mean, that man's numbers is crazy. I think they're gonna start getting tired of him too, because he's been, what's he been, a 2-time MVP?
Yeah,
2-time MVP, been Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, they gonna get tired of Giannis a little bit. We all in his world though. He gonna win the championship again this year. This is a Giannis world now. We living in his world right now. He's
it's safe to say another American won't win MVP for the next 3 to 4 years.
Who's the next American? Zion. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah.
Next 3 to 4 years, we won't see an American holding up an MVP trophy.
Oh, that's a hot take. Ooh.
That is very.
But the thing about it is, like, who would it be, right? Like, there's nobody in the game right now that's going to take it, so it's going to be some young Thunder.
Who you got? Morant, right? Morant will be the next. That's the next guy that's running that can run with it.
That young fella next up for sure.
Wait, not.
I don't know. I don't know if they don't slow down.
I don't know if he got MVP in him right now. But if you said what was the next American to grab the throne, he got his hand. He still got his hand out for it.
What about Anthony?
Not Morant, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, if they don't slow down Edelman and Jordan, that's Jordan. That's Jordan out there. They don't slow him down. Ooh.
Hey, when he dunked on them cats, was that yesterday? Man, that was nice. The two-hand joint.
He might skip the line a little bit.
Y'all think Memphis gets past? Y'all think Memphis gets past Timberwolves?
Negative.
I do.
Oh,
I do.
as well.
I do. Yeah, I think they lack of size makes up. They gritty, man. They got. I think they. So is Timberwolves too, though. But I said that last joint. I was like, man, we used to watch out for Memphis. Even if they lost one, all right. Everybody lose one. First one. I think they're getting back out there. I don't know what time they play tonight though, but
they play right now. They up 8, but I think they win that in like 6, maybe 5. Minnesota's nice. They got all the glitz and glamour, but it's not now. Not this this year. I still think Karl Anthony Towns has to get out. Like, he's nice, but he's still. I think it's still like a fake star shell. It's not like I'm not a real star yet. Like, he wants to be one, but I feel like it's a cover. Like, it's not there yet. He has all the numbers. He can do everything. I just don't think
Jimmy Butler.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. Yeah, doesn't have that dog in him like that. I'm just gonna do it. Like, I've seen that man get punked in the fourth quarter several times. Like, oh man. You just had 30 last night?
But that's why he's Pippen to Anthony Edwards Jordan. So he don't have to worry about that. He can just,
so if he's Pippen, he's the greatest, right? Because Pippen has well documented in his book that he is greater than Jordan. So
hey.
Every time I hear Pippen, all I think is Gucci flip-flops, and I'm out.
Golly.
No shot.
The disrespect.
Hey, you trolling.
Disrespect that man. Yeah, that's disrespect. That's
he
a
had
Hall of
nothing to do with
Famer.
that.
Yeah, that's a Hall of Famer.
I got a Pippen jersey on the wall.
That's a Hall of Famer, man.
He just made a bad. He made one bad choice. That's it.
The disrespect.
Good grief.
All right, let's switch it up. This should be quick, man, but I definitely want to put it out there because I think it was definitely, a miraculous turnaround. So I know we got a couple golfers on here, but anybody catch any of the Masters or follow that? Because Tiger came through, and it's ridiculous. The dude almost didn't have a leg.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Masters, but I kept up a little bit with Tiger's injury and the background, like talk on like the longevity in his golfing career or whatever. And early on it was like he couldn't even really golf a full 18 without being in terrible pain, and they were saying that he'll never golf a full 18 again. Yeah, for sure. But for him to come back and do them, that's nuts. For him to do the Masters, crazy.
Make the cut and make the cut.
Yeah. And they said they would never do that again. Insane.
He didn't make the cut.
But you got to look at the fact that he got new legs, though. They just gave him new legs.
Yeah.
So
I'm an avid golfer, and I'm gonna tell you like this.
Bro, that's
the average Joe on here couldn't walk Augusta 4 days in a row. The average Joe. So like to play it, is a feat in itself. But like none of us on here right now getting out and gonna walk the Masters 4 straight days in a row. Like it's just ain't in you to do it like that, and then to do it while you play golf, man, is amazing. And then I still need to know what happened in the accident, but looking past that now,
Ross, you would if you had new legs.
nah, man, I don't know. It got to be bionic because I'm trying to tell you, man, 4 days of golfing and walking the course it's a struggle.
The $6 million man.
He said,
They said they have the technology.
What happened in the accident, though, Ross?
I do want to know what happened with the accident because I've dropped my phone before, but I ain't went off the side of the road. So I still need to know.
The African dude and how fast he was with those blue legs.
So now, Bobby, man, don't go too far because they'll start. He win the next one. They put an asterisk next to it because of Bobby. The guy's he got a bionic leg, so we can't count it anymore.
We heard on the Blocking Sports live show about this secret procedure that Tiger had. Gives him an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
The man's just good, man.
Yeah, he got back problems.
Can't get a golf cart.
Yeah, I don't think they can do a golf cart. They gotta walk.
You gotta walk it. You gotta walk.
You have to walk.
The other thing to put in perspective is that it was 100 and something guys out there that played golf all day religiously, and then half of them did make the cut. And this dude walked off the street pretty much and made the cut. Just like, hey, we playing on Thursday? I'll be out there.
Man.
It's all good. Like, yeah.
Hit it with I got next.
What time we starting? All right,
they said the clubhouse. They said the clubhouse erupted when they found out that he was coming back. Everybody was like, "Wait, Tiger's coming?" Oh, okay. Y'all sure he coming though? Like
he gonna be here?
You think he wins another major?
We got to play him. And then when you start looking at the scores,
it's kind of like that. It's kind of like Brady. Why not? Why wouldn't he win another one?
I think he does.
Yeah, if he can compete, he got a shot.
Yep,
golf is a funny sport like that. He can be in one day and out the next, and so if he in it, he got a shot.
Yep.
And they straight up asked him, was like, "Do you think you can win without a flinch, a blink, a stutter?" And he said, "Yes."
Ice in his vein.
Yes, he's like, "Yo, I got this. Just watch." And this motherfucker came in and made the cut.
Hey, do you make him ultimate comeback player of the year if he wins one, even though we know he's been the greatest of all time? And then stepped away, came back, and then got broke down, and then came back again.
Oh, he definitely gets an SP this year. There's some kind of SP award. They got to make one for this nigga. He's gonna get an SP.
Why did he say that though, EJ?
Say what? Comeback player of the year? Bobby on that Boost Mobile, man. We can't hear you.
It's a cricket.
My man got suddenly.
Check your Wi-Fi, man. Check your Wi-Fi. All right, man. Moving on into other tragedies. So I'm a Steeler fan, and
you say Woods
kind of
legs.
Oh, look at this, Bobby. We're on to the new topic, man. So, Dwayne Haskins, man. That shit was crazy. That news, man, and how we kind of hear things, and just kind of want to hear people's thoughts of his rough start coming in and like how that was kind of talked about when we should be mourning the loss of what was going on and how his family was. And there was a couple of people that just like really like drug his ass through the mud. So I think there was some shit with like Adam Schefter, Gil, and some other people, man. So I don't know if y'all caught that, but that shit was that was tough.
I just want to say, I think this is the biggest problem with being a major athlete is that there's no separation from the human and the athlete at times. And we lost a human being, you know what I mean? Not an athlete. He just happened to play football. So it's just, that part of it is sad, especially if I'm a family member sitting at home when, my boy just died. And all you could think about was the time that he shook somebody's hand in the middle of a game instead of going back out there. But that shit's not important anymore.
Right.
Like, think about what the real issue is.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think he had a lot of respect in the league. But that's why I give a big shout out to the Steelers. Like, they're becoming one of my favorite teams. But they're looking after Brian Flores. They embracing black coaches in the league. They took.
Let's not forget Mike Tomlin's. Never had a losing season. We just want to put that out there, though.
And they still don't get no love. But I give a shout out to him. But I don't think he had a lot of Dwayne Haskins had a lot of respect, and I just hate to see it. I hate to see it.
Yeah, I agree. They question his work ethic and all that, and you got some chances. Like you think about that Washington team. I mean, it was basically almost made. And again, they didn't have a lot of talent though. But I think that what I'm saying, it was kind of set up, in my opinion. Like if he really was going to do it, he's going to do it there. So when he didn't do it there, I was like, okay, maybe there is an issue with his work ethic because he had some decent games. I follow the Buckeyes, so I follow Buckeye players and stuff. He had some decent games where but so did Terrell Pryor or whatever in the league. So it's just he just didn't really cultivate himself. Again, back to that issue of work ethic, and the young kids really may or may not having it as much as an older veteran or whatever. But it's still a devastating loss, and I just wish that he could have did a lot better. But as far as collegiate career, he broke records and whatnot. But it's definitely a tragedy, and
And he still holds the records too, right?
Yep, he broke Drew Brees' records out there in the Big Ten. So.
Damn.
And
He
them
did?
records is
Well,
yeah.
I wasn't hip to his resume like
Me
that.
either.
Yeah, no, he real big. So Drew Brees' records was dumb. But I mean, they were single season records though, but he broke them.
But bro, when you look at how many white boys came in the league and ain't really did shit and nobody said nothing, like quit tripping. Like
Right, facts.
come on.
Quit
Come on.
tripping.
Baker Mayfield, shut up. I give two shits. Like,
Yeah, right. Baker Mayfield, Colt McCoy, the list goes
man, like
on and
see how
on of trash
yeah,
quarterbacks that didn't do
join
nothing.
us. No doubt.
Yeah, right. But we don't get that, we never get that leniency. We don't get that. Like, I mean, they just expect us to do everything and do it well. Right now, come in and do this and this and that, and that's just not how it is all the time. So, like I said, just keep it pushing. That's what makes us great. That's what makes us them our kids. So anybody that when they come in and fail, it's okay. But when we fail, it looks bad because we the parents. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So speaking of quarterbacks, I keep asking because he keeps getting in the news. Kaepernick. So now he announced he will be a backup, and he's still pushing that whole kind of agenda. Like, does Cap ever get back in the league as a backup now?
Nobody want to touch him, man. Nobody want to touch him.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody in
with
this
that.
chat
I
wants
wish
to
he
touch
would-
him either.
I wish you would give that up.
They didn't want to touch him when he was
My bad.
good, and they knew he was good. They ain't seen him in what, 3 years?
He had a warm up like last year, I
5.
think, right?
Get this man
Five?
out, bro. Yeah, he ain't.
He
I
had a
don't know
recent
why
one
he's
last
even acting
year.
like he's trying to do that, man. I don't even know why he's trying to act, man. I
He
just
ain't
wish
got
he
nothing else to do, man. There's nothing else
Stick-
to do.
stick
My
to
man is bored, bro.
stick
Yes, he's
to a
bored.
plan and
There's-
keep
Let that
doing
man live his dream
He's bored.
again.
He's lived it. He's good. He done.
I want him to be in. I don't think there's an owner in the NFL that want that attention. They only want that headline in the paper.
So what about
I
other
don't even know if it's
opportunities?
that. 'cause,
You
like,
telling me
I don't even know if it's-
you could get a guy with 26 allegations and that ain't too much attention, but you can't give a guy.
I'm saying, no,
Damn.
I'm with you, Ross. I'm with you, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
like Deshaun Watson was clearly the top 4 to 5 Q in the league,
That's
like undeniably.
How many Super Bowls he been to?
Is 4 or 5 years removed. They like,
Got
yeah,
you.
but
They
check
got
this.
Hey, who got more playoff wins in the last 4 years? I'm just saying. So
Hey,
when you say it like that,
I owe you
I'm about to get a
drink.
Tito's and
Yeah.
tonic as soon as I hit this bar right now.
You won. I give up.
I'm just saying I like Deshaun Watson, but when you say you can't give Cap a chance, then it's like, then let's just say we don't
Hey,
fuck
but
with
check
Cap.
this.
Let's just say it.
That 200+ million deal for Deshaun Watson had nothing to do with football. Like, you are talking about 2 white owners, like in their 70s, 80s. They are not giving a bruh in the NFL $200+ million fully guaranteed without knowing that he got fucked in Houston. That was them saying, every owner, hey, y'all pay up, y'all give us this loot. Yeah, we messed up. We gonna let this dude get his loot. He got more loot than Tom Brady and A-Rod. Like,
He broke
come
a whole
on.
nother barrier. He's in a whole other
Come on.
stratosphere.
That was not just football.
After not playing for a season, he broke
After
the barrier.
not playing, like that was them saying we about to like shove this under the rug, give him his 200 mil, and we gonna get him on the squad.
That's
Like
and not
he
even
did
know if
not
he's
do
gonna
all
be
of
able to
this.
play.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I haven't heard that thought of it. That's interesting. I think
They
he's
giving a
weird.
bruh $200+ million over Brady.
I think he a little
Stop
weird.
playing. Stop
but
playing.
That's
You
interesting.
think it's why do you think it's weird?
What do you say?
Why do you think it's weird?
I don't know. We just talked about Zion with how professional athletes treat their bodies, and I don't know if you just having any old body touch your body, unless you're kind of weird. You know what I mean? So.
Oh man,
Hey, man, where you going with this?
We're talking about
oh.
we're talking about the allegations, right? I'm not going to get into the details, right? But there's 22 or 26 or however how many that is.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he has some interaction, whether or not it was, whatever that. We're not gonna get into the details. I'm just saying, as a quarterback, usually, I mean, they have regimens, right? Like, this guy works, whatever. He does my physical therapy. This my guy. Usually they don't have like a bunch of different people. So I mean, it is
maybe
weird.
Maybe he was trying them out. You got to try. Like I mean, I get massages all the time, and I need to go to 20 different ones. To see who the best.
I mean, that's true. I mean, but we don't even play with Chinese food that much, let alone massages, right? So
I do.
We find our Chinese food spot and we good.
Man, you going to hell.
I mean,
you going to hell. That brother going to hell.
I love it. No. That's just facts. It's facts. Like,
we don't play with Chinese food that much. We got our Chinese food spot. I know they do chicken fried rice good, and that's the spot I'm going to. I don't care how far it is from the crib. I'm going to that Chinese food spot.
Leroy slap.
See what I'm saying?
Leroy's just slap. I don't care what city you in. Leroy's Chinese food, it's slap.
Hey, Golden Flower out here in Vegas, boy, fire. 10-15 minutes, no matter what you order. It's 10-15 minutes.
I'm gonna have to try that next time I'm there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. That sounds good.
Oh man.
So, all right, last and wrapping this up. So not going to the league, Kaepernick. So should he do? I mean, we got all these other leagues, right? You got fan control league, got the USFL.
Didn't T.O. just score a touchdown this weekend?
I was just about to say, well, 2 Niners, why don't they just reunite? Do a Niners, comeback tour.
And bring it back.
I don't know, man. They stole that opportunity from him, in my opinion. So he probably wants to. If he can't do it on that stage and that platform, why do it on? I mean, I'm not.
A lesser
I feel like
platform.
I'm varsity. Yeah. I'm not doing that either. So
yeah.
But aren't you talking like
there?
He's saying the love of the game, though.
I mean, he probably wants to do it for the love of the game, but there's a flag football league around where he's at too. If that's the case, I mean, he wants to get out there and show people that he really can get out there and compete, which is what that's really all the man wanted. He just had a view or a stance that he wanted to and that's all that stopped him from playing. Nothing else. It wasn't his talent or lack of talent, even though, in my opinion, he was declining a little bit because there we go. That run pass option shit wasn't
Blake.
Yeah, it wasn't popping no more. Yeah. So
you got Ronnie Brown.
I mean, hey,
how old is he? How old is Cap?
RG3 on the sideline too, a little bit. So that shit work like
RG3 played himself out of the league though.
Collins 34.
He played himself. Yeah, he played.
Yeah, 34.
Yeah, RG3 didn't play himself out of the league.
Or that style kind of. No, he did. I give you that.
I mean,
injuries and he came back, and it just always was one step slower.
Yeah. But it's not like Kaepernick was killing.
Key component that all of them was in Washington. So Haskins, him,
yeah.
And I think sometime we said the organization. I think we said that with Zion, right? The organization.
Right, organization. That's the topic of the night. Organization.
Hey, since you say something like that, at what point did black parents start pulling the Mannings move where I won't let my kid play for that franchise?
We did. Zion. We doing that.
I was saying Mark Maker, whatever his name, like going to HBCUs. I think that's a step where that's starting to happen. They like, yo, I don't have to go to Duke. I ain't got to go to North Carolina. I can go get a meal from Gatorade on an NIL and end up going to like NCAA.
Go check Deion Sanders. One of his most recent posts. Now that them bags is getting, everybody can have a bag. The bags is getting bigger in the SEC. So they just changing. The rules got changed, but the game didn't.
I don't think he cares about the
A lot
bag,
of our
man.
kids
He care
going.
about the kids.
Well, he cares if the kids get the bag.
Dion, right? Yeah, he want to get. He want the kids to get the bag.
And he is on their ass, like calling people out. Like, when he had the pro day, he's like, this team, and this team was not there.
Yep.
And
And
like,
if you let me see who's showing for Auburn and all these other teams. I bet not see you there. I bet not see you there.
Straight up.
I
And then we're
like
gonna see
that.
what this draft looks like. And if no one gets drafted, because that was the other thing, like no HBCU players got drafted last year. So, I don't know if that'll happen again this year. I think, we're getting closer to like, grooming that talent and getting a focus, but
Man, I don't know. Like, here's where I stand on it. At least with basketball, with the NBA, I think black talent, especially coming out of high school, has an option to go to like overtime elite or the G League.
I just
and
saw
you're
that.
starting to see like the best talent is not going to college anymore. They're like, yo,
The
I'm
Jalen
going
Green.
here to go overtime. I think they hired Ollie, the dude from the head coach from UConn.
This is literally
He's in that
super
league.
fresh in my mind because I was watching, I think Mavs game,
Halfway?
and then I was gaming something, and then like I just looked up and he was on ESPN. So yeah, like last night I was watching it, and like Jalen Green was like a prospect number 1 overall, and he's still playing. He's playing in the G League. He didn't go to college, and he's still like on track to be a number 1. And they are on his ass, man. These coaches like they lost the game, and he's been shooting terribly. And the coach is like, this is what you need to work on. But he had an interview like with ESPN, and it was Kendrick Perkins and some lady that was on, not to minimize her, I don't know her name, but she was asking him, she's like, what do you think about this opportunity compared to going to college? And he was like, well, this gives me more real life experience, and this is what I prefer because I'm getting more information basically on what I need to do and how I need to progress in the league and what I need to do to keep myself competing at this level. So I think it's a smart decision.
And not
Especially
have to
if you
go
don't
to
see yourself going to school. Yeah.
So this is where MH comes in, because me and MH have this goddamn battle on all of our FM shows. If anytime we come in, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let MH go and go, MH.
What's your take, MH? What you got?
Yeah, I think I'm both ways with it. I think it's cool that they have the freedom and the choice. I think that's cool. But I don't think there's anything wrong with college ball. I don't think there's anything wrong because, and here's why I say that. I think the NBA is in a real interesting spot because the guys, the gay holders, whoever's the top of the league, they're still top of the league because the young guys just don't really know how to play. So there's no way at LeBron at 30, LeBron is great. We all know his greatness. But at 37, 38 years old, we shouldn't be talking about him averaging 30 points no more. We just shouldn't be. We are, because nobody else can play because they done OT overtime. They done the G League Ignite, and they can't play till 2 to 3 years in the league. And guys like Old Hat, LeBron, Carmelo still playing. I love Carmelo more than anything, but he shouldn't be playing in the league anymore. But he can play because the guys haven't learned any fundamentals below them, and they're not ready to take the mantle. That's what I truly believe. And a guy like Jalen Green, he can put up numbers, whatever, but his team is not going to win. We won't know about Jalen Green for the next 6 years because his team's not going to win in Houston. We're not going to know about any of those guys in Orlando that's been drafted because they don't win there. They just don't win. They're just young guys that just play around. They don't win. They don't know how to play the game. I think there's some value of going to college, learning some fundamentals. What?
I said that's where careers go to die in Orlando.
Exactly. I'm with you, but I think there's value to learning college, playing in the system. I mean, Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan before he went to North Carolina, but he learned how to play in the system because of Dean Smith, right? And he's the greatest of all time. I think there's a value to that. I think we're losing that value of just kind of waiting your turn. You don't have to give everything right now. You don't have to need.
Well, let's be clear. Overtime elite is just 1 to 2 years in. Like, we won't know like their true like baseline until probably another 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
Like,
if they make it that
say that,
if they make it
that the only way to go.
But
like,
we literally just I'm sorry, Bertie. Go ahead.
I think they need to bring the age limit back. The NBA is overrun with mediocre guys. The kid from Gonzaga, a sophomore from Gonzaga declared, the kid from Vegas declared for the draft. He didn't average 4 points a game.
What?
He was just on a good team.
Well, let's talk about his rebounds then. Let's not just focus on his scoring. How many boards was he averaging?
There's more to it than scoring.
Ben Simmons.
In the league, you got to play defense too. We didn't talk about that.
Bertie, let's talk. I'm with you.
Who didn't start as a freshman, who didn't do anything particular this year after playing, declares for the draft, and honestly thinks he's going to get drafted. So you got to half the league is guys like that, half. So they don't make it past their first rookie contract.
Thank
Look
you.
how many guys are not in the league anymore that were decent in college.
They play in Orlando, and they've not about to be in the league.
Hey, you talking about an 8-year
Or
swing,
Sacramento.
Hey, Bertie, you talking about an 8-year
Let's go
swing,
too far with the sack. The sack comment was a little bit too close to home. Let's not talk about the Kings. I appreciate that.
No, but I think we talked about that on another. I think it was a live. We just talked about the style of basketball, right? Because they're not learning the fundamentals, and everybody that spoke when they talked about something, I think Mr. Ross called it out, was that we talked about their scoring potential and not like how you a lot of times in football we talk. Well, and I think we talk basketball. We talk about like that sports IQ. And a lot of these guys are coming out without that sports IQ because they're not spending that time, in these developed, structured programs. So I think that's sacrificing the play of the game a little bit.
I mean, even if you go back and look at the tournament this year and how the final teams were playing, like if you look at some of those games and how those players played, you can see how much more development they needed. You're talking about freshmen and sophomores, and these are the same kids that we're talking about going directly into the league. You need to be in those systems. You need to learn how to play basketball at another level. Going back to the whole Zion conversation, you have to understand there are levels to this. And if you don't know how to play at the level, you shouldn't be in the game there yet. Okay? Or you need to realize you got to step it up. Like, that's what it's about. I don't want to hear about, oh, well, they're just to this or they're just to that. You're for instance, we were having a conversation about free throw shooting in the Final Four with like the Carolina and Duke game. And it was like, well, they're just freshmen or they're just sophomores. It's like, and it's a free throw. That's high school. You should have learned that when you came out of AAU at 13. We don't miss shots on the free throw line. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so saying, well, they're just freshmen and sophomore, but you're a freshman and you're a sophomore, you're at Duke or you're at Carolina, you're on a different stage. The expectation is higher.
Yeah.
Okay, and you need to be held accountable for that. Period.
I think it's okay for them cats to be in the
college
league.
is a stage of development.
That's fair.
I want to say something else that we overlooked. And the college experience, man, the camaraderie and the guys that you got to go through adversity with, it shapes you and changes you as an athlete. And when it's all about the money and all about the contract, it affects your growth, I think internally. And so when a guy gets in the fourth quarter of a game, when it's some guys he's never played before, he reacts different than if it's his brother that he's been playing with for 4 years and this is their last run at a natty. It's harder on the court versus, shit, I'm about to get my check at the end of this game one way or another. I'm just going to finish up and get my points and then I'm out. So it just I think it's just that adversity you face, man. That college experience is something else, man. And it's not so much about the education and the academics, but just that experience that you get playing with a group of guys consistently like that and growing up as young men before you get forced into a man's game.
And piggybacking off that, I think there's an element of learning your NBA game. I think what's good for college is that, hey, everybody's All-American in high school. Everybody is All-World in high school. Everybody's all this, whatever. There's a level in college that goes that you got to kind of fit in a little bit, right? You're not going to – there's other All-Americans there. You got to kind of work your magic before you're a professional, before, like Ross was saying, is the business is a business. I think when you get thrusted into the NBA, they don't know how to work and be a role player. There's a part of finding your game in the NBA that you got to get to. And I think when you're thrusted in there and you've been the star, all of a sudden, and now you got to go to the NBA where the big boys are playing. They're telling you, hey, you just a 3-and-D guy. You don't even know what that's like. You haven't even faced that kind of adversity, but you're in the league now, right? And so now you're quicker to leaving the league than staying in it because you don't know what your NBA game is. You haven't developed the fullness of what your game could be. And I think that's what the value of college is in the way.
Do you think it's better to develop? Do you think the guys learn in the NBA to be NBA players versus being NBA players in college? Because I think they get better in the NBA.
I do. I'm with you.
I think that goes with why you have freshman, JV, and varsity in high school. Because a kid can develop as a freshman and hone his craft, learn his body. How do I fall? How do I use my hands? If you throw him in at varsity, he's just scrapping to save his life for the day. So I think that as you level up, you get an opportunity to develop your skills and utilize them appropriately. But if you're in there and everybody around me is 25, they all been playing basketball, at a professional level, then I'm in here just trying to mimic whatever they're doing to stay on the roster. I'm not actually developing my skills so much. And then that also comes with that outside personal time you get to put in. Well, you don't have that, I'm getting paid to play. It's a job. When I clock out my job, I ain't going to I was trying to figure out how to work some more. I'm like, damn, I'm done. At high school, in college, I'm trying to get
Is Russ talking? Is that Russ?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I got that Tebow for you too.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, if you ask me, I don't think it really matters anymore whether you go to college or not, whether you go to G League, because we're talking about it's just, I mean, just where are you going to get your basketball skills together? Are you going to college? You going to the G League? Like I said, you talked about Jalen Green. He didn't go to college. But look at the top picks. The top picks was Cade Cunningham, 1 year at college. Scotty Barnes, 1 year at college. Evan Mobley, 1 year at college. These like 3 or 4 of the 5 top picks. Matter of fact, 5 of the 6 top picks or something like that only spent 1 year in college, or you know what I'm saying, maybe played in Australia or somewhere else. What I'm saying, so I don't think it matters. It's just like wherever you feel comfortable. I don't think Jalen Green did anything different. I do think he's gonna be a beast. I know that everybody, like somebody said that 6 months later down the line, we ain't gonna know about this. 6 years later down the line, we ain't gonna know about this cat. But I disagree with that. Dude gonna be good. It's just that he just didn't go to college. But the other guys only spent 1 year. What's 1 year anywhere of organized basketball? Somebody teaching you anything? I kind of just think that it just comes down to what's applicable for that person to, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, Jalen Green didn't want to go to college, but the other cats went. They didn't spend 1 year there. How much could you earn in a year? All you learned was, like how to deal with folks. You ain't really learned too much different basketball.
On top of that, I mean, you have other responsibilities. If you go into college rather than going straight into the G League, you have the other responsibilities of actual schooling. Like you gotta go learn something. Yeah, you gotta do that in the background. So if you go to the G League, you still get to play with past pros or current off and on. Like Jeremy Lin is still playing for the Warriors G League team. So I mean, you get to play with people of that caliber, an NBA caliber. So I believe you could possibly learn more about the structure of the NBA and the game of the NBA going straight into the G League rather than playing in college. But then you have players like Luka. Yes. You didn't think he was going to make a whole episode without me mentioning my boy. About he came from he played in the Euros.
Yeah, I agree.
Luka's an anomaly. He's one of a kind. Luka's an anomaly. Luka's an anomaly, bro. He's been playing pro since he was like 12.
I was just about to say that. And even there, when they play,
I said that just so I can hear y'all hype him up. Honestly.
Oh, here you go.
That's what it was.
I think it is. I agree. I do think it's 2 different games, and I do think like it might be better to maybe do the alternate routes, like maybe G League or. I'm not sure on Overtime Elite yet, but we'll see about that. That just has to develop over years. But it's just 2 different games. College is you can play zones and it's 30-second shot clock, and it's more maybe like more so like guard oriented. And the league is too, because it's just a bunch of spreads, pick and rolls, and bigs are switching on the guards, and guards are just taking advantage of that or whatever. But as far as like developing, I mean, so who do we place that on? Do we place it on the players, or do we place it on the organizations, like the player development, the guys like in each in particular organization, or so I'm just kind of wondering, like, who are we placing this on? I mean, obviously the players gotta want to be great and all that type of stuff, but
it should be a shared responsibility.
No, I think
Yes,
it's,
sir.
it's a
It
development pool.
should be,
I
but
think
it
it's a
also
development
depends on
pool.
what route you decide to take. Because again, if you decide to take a college route, a collegiate route, the responsibility is placed more so on the school that you go to, because they're looking at you as though you are still a child in development, and that's what they're supposed to do. If you make the decision that, hey, I'm going to go into the G League or overtime, it becomes the responsibility of that individual to make sure that the organization is giving them what they need in order to develop the way that is necessary for them to get to the level they want to be at in the league. A lot of the responsibility needs to go back onto that individual, but I think depending on what route you decide to take depends on the level of accountability that you are expected to take. Once you decide you're not going to college anymore, that responsibility falls on you to make sure you're getting what you need to develop in the manner in which will help you to be successful later on in life. When you're in college, you can place that on the organization and the school, because they are providing something to you with an expectation, and with whatever they're providing, scholarship funds, they are required to make sure essentially they get their investment. And in doing that, they're going to make sure that you get taken care of to a certain extent, whereas that's not necessarily true in the G League or with overtime.
That makes sense. That was very well said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ebony.
What
what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Professor Ebony just laid it out.
Thank you.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, and I just want to thank you all for coming to Ebony's TED Talk.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
I don't disagree. I don't agree with that wholly. I think colleges take advantage of young black kids. And specifically in professional sports, I want to see young black men, especially NBA and NFL, NBA being 75% black, NFL being 75 to 80% black. These guys don't have an opportunity to make money off of them. Most of them are not going to be LeBron James. Most of them are not going to be Steph Curry. Most of them are not going to be Damian Lillard. If they have an opportunity to go make $1 million off of their name, off of their skill, off of their talent, do that versus college saying, hey, we're going to give you $50,000.
But they can do that in college now, though. NIL.
So that goes to the question. That goes to the question.
Go ahead, Bertie.
We all speaking at once. Let's somebody first. Oh, someone just popped. Okay.
Salud.
What'd you say, Bertie? I heard you.
I said you can still do it by going to college. You just get it quicker in the NBA. You got to work a little harder in college, but you can still be set up for millions by going to college. You just get it fast.
The math doesn't prove out to be that. The evidence doesn't show that.
Yeah,
like
but
most guys, when they don't come out
graduating.
after their second year, they don't make it. They don't ever get the opportunity to monopolize or make money off of their skill or their talent after year two.
But here's the other thing about that. You can go and you can get that million, but if you don't know what to do with that million, which most of them getting out, going directly into G League or going directly into overtime, don't know what to do with that money, then it's still a waste.
I agree, but college doesn't teach them how to do that. Let's be clear. College doesn't teach them how to manage millions of dollars. College teaches them how to be an employee.
Yes, the accountability then goes back.
Ebony, you just muted you. There you go.
And you're mature. You're more mature, so you should know a little bit more when you get out of college coming into the league. But to get $1 million and lose $1 million, it makes no sense. I wouldn't want to get $1 million and lose it, my first year, because I don't know what to do with it. So if I go to college and I learn a little bit, some of that goes back to like they said, got to be some shared responsibility. But at 18, would I know what to do with $1 million versus at 22? Like, no, I'm hoping that the 4 years in college, it opened my brain up to something different than when I was just all video games and movies.
That's not necessarily true.
I'm with Brandon.
All of it has to do with who you surround yourself with. It goes back to the whole conversation we was having before when we was talking about Zion. It depends on who you surround yourself with. It depends on who is looking out for you. And it depends on how you as an individual take responsibility for your life, what you want, and how you plan to use your talent to progress in the world. Like, what do you want to do? What kind of player do you want to be? And that is what we need to start teaching these boys really young. What kind of player do you want to be? It's not just about making it to the league. It's about making it out of the league. It's not just about making it to college for those that aren't going to the league. It's about what are you getting out of that experience?
Yeah.
And for too long, all we teach is you got to get to the league. There's more than just getting to the league.
I agree.
It's about getting out of the league.
Yeah, but teamwork make the dream work, man. And you do need help, man. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs somebody to be there with them every step of the way and things like that. So, I mean, it sounds good in theory to say what to do after the league, and maybe people do have good ideas to do that, but everybody just doesn't have that support. Everybody doesn't have the team around them. Like, I don't know if y'all watched the Michael Beasley thing on the Pivot a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about, I've been wanting to kill myself. I just want to hoop, and I want to go out on my own terms and things of that nature. And Ryan Clark and them dudes didn't even know what to say. They over here talk about, hey, come over to the house and bring the kids in the jumpy house. It's like, what, bro? This ain't got nothing to do with that. I wouldn't even want nobody to be around my kids if they told me they wanted to kill themselves. If they mention that. So you know what I'm saying? It's all about who's gonna be, like, who are you really gonna help? Like, people got platforms, man, and people are they're being bad gatekeepers. They're not letting people in. They're only letting certain people in that they might like, or whoever the media may say, oh, this guy's this, or this guy's that, or this guy's wholesome, but this guy's kind of trouble. So I mean, in theory, it sounds good, and you would think that, like, oh, they should be able to transition out of the league. But man, some of these guys or some of these people, man, everybody just kind of following the leader and just following like what's trendy.
But
or
again,
whatever.
That's why I say it starts when they're young men. It starts when they're young women. It starts with instilling in them as an AAU coach with a 10-year-old how they need to progress. And the problem is people are focused on how do I make money off of these kids versus how do I make sure that kids are.
Let me ask you a question, Roy.
Also,
so what's up?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Go by Stills.
Uh-huh.
I can't hear,
man. The cricket.
That's a good question. Damn.
I can't. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear him.
Y'all going
Hey, hold
ahead.
on. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him.
Nobody heard it. Nobody did.
No, what I was gonna say is, after watching that stuff with Michael Beasley, that seems more of a mental thing with him.
Thank you. Also, everybody here touched on.
Okay. Yeah, it's a mental thing. I'm not saying it's not a mental thing, but what I'm saying is that when you get on the platform. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Ray.
Bad
internet,
man.
I'm
a type.
No, I'm. Yeah, it's a mental thing. I agree with that, but at the same time, it's like part of what's going to help Michael Beasley is if he's able to play.
But Michael
that's his release. That's his release.
He's got other issues in that. Part of that whole documentary was how everybody in his life stole from him, including
everybody, not just his mama.
Right.
Another part of what helped him is therapy.
When we were talking about Lamar earlier, and you guys were like, "Oh, why he not in those commercials?" He don't want to be in those commercials. Everybody don't want that. Some people just want to play. Some people want to be mediocre. I mean, how much
Michael Beasley just wants to play.
He just wants to hoop. Sufficient. And so there's all time, and everybody here has hit on it. It's the people around your circle, the people that's helping you, that's teaching you, molding you, shaping you. If your mama's stealing from you, I just want to go play. He'd probably play for free just to get away from the people in his circle.
Yeah.
His mom passed away.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to her.
He still had to deal with
At
that,
some
though.
point in his professional career.
I couldn't, as a person, like if I was to ever make it to the league of any kind, the way I grew up, I could never ever imagine that my dad would ever attempt to do something like that. My dad he's always been a straight shooter, and I mean just the things that he instilled in me at a young age, like you would never see me out here. I don't want to bring it up, but I'm going to having issues like Henry Ruggs. Like Henry Ruggs, you're making millions a year. At that point in time, you're never going to catch me. I'm going to pay somebody an assload of money to be around me 24/7. I'm never gonna have the keys to my car. They're gonna have the keys to my car. And if I'm getting drunk, then they're driving. It comes down to that, and it comes down to the people you surround yourself with 100%. But it also, like with the Beasley thing, like you expect your parents to instill these things in you, but to have that happen, that your mom turns you on and
sounds good in theory, right? I'm with you.
Yeah, everybody can't have the dad I had. Shout out, dad.
Right.
But again, I mean, just think about it. Each of you in your individual circles. How many of you have kept people in that have done you wrong and have not supported you? Like at some point, you had to make a decision that, you know what, this person is not, they're not in my corner. They're not cheering for me. They're not supporting me. This person doesn't need to be a part of my circle anymore.
Yeah,
like everybody has to do that at some point, and giving some kind of pass to individuals because they're athletes it doesn't work. We have to stop with that. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your own life, no matter how you grew up. So do that. We've all experienced hardship in one way or another. Just because you can shoot a jump shot does not mean that you are, you get some kind of pass. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your own self. We've all had to do it. And people that haven't, unfortunately, they're in dark places, but you can only do so much.
You're right. I think the problem is that what we know, like I've learned things at 40 that these guys should know at 20, because they're exposed to things that I've never accomplished, and I probably won't make the loop that a lot of these 19 and 20-year-olds will. And so the circle, I don't think they ever learn it. That's the problem. I'm with you. I agree 1,000%.
Me too. That's been the whole theme of the day. Is personnel, personnel and management. That's been the theme of the day: personnel and management. Who you got around you, like to help you and support you, like, and that's even on a black tip or even on a human tip or whatever. I'm saying you need a nice circle. You need some people around you, and like the people that we talked about today may or may not have had the right personnel or the right management around them to help them succeed. And as black people are here today, like I don't like to make it like that, but that's really what it is. We need to have a better keep our circles a little bit better and tighter and more intact for us. And what I'm saying, I really wish everybody had that. You know what I'm saying? We need to be more of that for everybody. So if I could leave anything, I'll leave with that. You know what I'm saying?
How do you teach that? How do you teach that? How do you teach that?
Example.
Yeah, examples. I agree.
Being a good example.
When we talk about pro athletes like us, guys that's in the game, I mean, we gotta also understand that this part is short. That's a short part of their life, right? Mm-hmm. Life is longer than they can only play this at max to however old LeBron James is 37. That's a young man, right? There's a lot of life to live. So I do think we got to understand that, hey, this is you making a lot of money. You hit the lotto, right, in this little bitty time, and they got to have people around them to use it properly or to be careful with the resource. But we also got to understand that, hey, life is long, so we make a lot of mistakes. Everybody's made some mistakes in their 20s and 30s, and probably continue to make mistakes. Life is long. We got to get past just, hey, this is being the final. This is it. As Ebony said, like, life don't stop at 25 after you made the bag in the league. Like, there's a lot more life to live. You're gonna be living outside of the league more than you're gonna be living in the league, probably.
So how would we teach these young cats to, like, I don't know.
Again, it starts like
if their families are. I mean,
you can't say it starts at home. I understand that, but if your mama stole from you, what can you do? Your mama stole from you. You don't know your mama gonna steal from you when you 12, 13, when you start becoming good at basketball. You don't know your mama's thinking about, oh, I can't wait for my son to get the money so I can steal, so I could swindle him. You don't know that, so I'm saying, how are we going to do that?
See, I was just thinking of a fix. Like, if I was an owner of a team, in order to protect my assets that I've invested my millions into, right? Like, I would have some sort of checks and balances system, and I would hire 3 to 4 outside financial advisors that would come in and they would have
Financial advisors are known for stealing from athletes, bro. Every documentary you see
I would pay
about
for them.
sports dudes
So they're
going
not
broke, there's
financial
always a
advisors
financial
aren't.
advisor that's in there that's
I
stolen
understand
from
that, but the
Michael Vick,
financial advisors aren't
all
being
these
paid by.
dudes.
They're not being
It
paid by the
happens.
team players. I'm
But
paying the
again,
financial advisor.
once you get to the league, they do have they do have services for players
It would
to
be a
help
mandatory
them
service.
learn about investing,
It would be
about
mandatory.
how to take
if
care
you're
of their
playing,
money, and
if
they're
I'm an
like
owner,
they have resources for them once they get to the league.
yeah, but I
But
think
again,
those are like optional, right? If I was an owner of a team and you're coming in the league, you're taking. It's
I
a
mean,
mandatory service for.
it's kind of optional, not really. There's certain things that they're
mandatory.
mandated and
Exactly.
required to go to and learn.
Yeah, that's
from
just a symposium. That's just a symposium. What you do with your money after that, though, really, it's on you. You ain't gonna never. Nobody's gonna never tell you.
But they have the resources there. So again, it comes down to making decisions at some point as an adult, just like all of us have had to do. All of us have had to make decisions based on information that has been provided to us. Period. Like again, giving individuals a pass because they make more money, or saying because they've been through this. Everybody has had the same challenges as some of these individuals. They haven't had it on the scale because they haven't had the money. But again, learning about finances, learning about how to build relationships, or learning when relationships are toxic, calling that out. That is something that we have to learn and teach early. And to the other point, as you say, ownership, invest in players, making sure that their investment is taken care of. But we're sitting here saying there are a number of people that have made the comment, like, you can't necessarily trust them because you're an investment to them. They're just trying to make money off of you. So there is an inherent distrust that players automatically have coming into the situation of so many people.
And black players specifically.
Right.
A cycle.
So my question is, do the players themselves pay for these things, or is that on these billionaire owners? Like I said, if I'm an owner, I'm a billionaire, I'm going to pay for all of these things.
There are resources that are provided by the league and by the players union to players for them to take advantage of. Now they have to make the choice to take advantage of those. Yeah.
Ebony, I don't give you the keys to the car before you do driver's ed, right? So we can't give a guy $1 million and go like, hey, now it's time to become financially literate. So if it's not starting well before they ever get the million, then there's no way for them to learn how to do it with $1 million in their hand and all of the influences around them.
That's not.
They got to start low before they ever get there. Because if they get to the league and they're now trying to let somebody either teach them on the fly or hold their hand on how to invest, it's too late. You already lost the game.
Yeah, but
you should come into $1 million having some understanding of what to do with it.
You can make that same point again about any of us and how we kept our finances. How many people on here knew when they got to college? Let's say college. If you went to college, how many of you, when you got on your own, knew how to balance checkbook, knew how to pay bills, knew what deductibles meant? Like, I've had this conversation with a number of my friends where we're like, we still had to call our parents and be like, so what does this mean again? Like, how am I supposed to do this? And luckily we had that resource. But again, it's the same thing. It starts young. If these young men, young women aren't put in environments where they can be taught the basics, whether that's through the AAU organization that they're in, whether it's through student programs at their middle school or their high school, or whether it's when they decide to go to college or go to overtime or G League or whatever it is, at some point they have to take responsibility for it themselves if they haven't been taught it and they want to keep it. We are not in a day and age where it is not where information is not accessible, where there is not plenty of examples of what can happen to you if you don't manage your finances, your mental health, your body, or anything else correctly. We can't keep saying that. We can't keep using "I didn't know" or "I don't know" as an excuse. It's not an excuse anymore. We can't do that.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's valuable, man. Like, you can't disregard that. Like, you can't disregard that people just don't know, or people are learning as they go. Like, just as they go, as they get older.
Learning as you go, yes, but saying that you didn't know that the resources weren't there.
Who's actually saying that though? Nobody's saying that. Like nobody actually saying that the resources ain't there. They're there, but people are getting swindled. People are corrupt. You giving people certain powers or certain control of this certain thing, and people are taking advantage of it because they know that they can. So yes, I'm not saying that a player shouldn't take responsibility or whoever, the individual shouldn't take responsibility. But man, everybody here has gotten swindled. Everybody here has gotten bamboozled at some point.
Run amok.
I'm gonna have to agree with Ebony in this situation. But that's just based on the technological age we're in today, right? I don't know it's not viable anymore because everybody has a smartphone. All it takes is a quick Google search, and you're gonna get.
But this isn't an information issue. It's not an.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna have something.
It's not an information issue, bro.
It's not an information issue. It's a trust.
Just 20 years ago, all these guys went to college on a scholarship for college. And if they made it to the pros, they made it to the pros. So college does matter. Nowadays, you got 80% of the kids, and I'm going to put that number high, that go to college for the NBA, not for college. If you look at even the ones that graduate, we got it was a report 5 years ago, 60% of athletes graduate with a leisure studies degree. I mean, because they're playing.
That's a degree.
So it does matter. College can be beneficial. And back then, guys went for college. And then if they made it, they made it. Nowadays, it's just different. So I think, and we've all touched on this, there has to be some personal accountability and responsibility in there somewhere.
But so if you're preparing to go to the NBA, you can prepare to take care of yourself when you go to the
NBA.
Absolutely.
It has to be. You have to be invested in yourself. People perish.
We don't disagree with
they
that.
are invested in themselves. They've been invested in themselves since they've been starting to hoop. That's what it is. That's the moneymaker at the moment.
All I'm saying is that they don't have the resources of the right people to teach them this information.
It's not even that.
What about themselves? What about themselves?
But see, I don't think it's that, right? Because we've all been told to do what you're good at, right? You do what your strength is, okay? Yep. And then you hire somebody that does your weaknesses. So they're hiring these people that are supposed to be the experts, and they're attempting to do their due diligence, some more than others. And then I get this person, and like Ray says, the fucker swindles me. Like I get, because I'm paying you for a service, and I'm believing that you're doing this certain service until something goes wrong, and then I have to investigate it, or I have some other check and balance in that to catch that. We all get swindled. I mean, in anything, we've gone to a new bank because of the service we weren't getting, or we had to change whatever, amount of services that we get. So these guys, we keep saying these guys need to train themselves, but if I'm paying you to be my financial advisor, if I'm paying you to be my agent, if I'm paying you to be my, dietitian and nutritionist, if you kind of come to a diet and you keep giving me gummy worms as all my food, then I have to look at hold on, I love these gummy worms like a motherfucker, but
these motherfuckers hitting, but
these motherfuckers hitting like a
motherfucker. But again, I'm not.
Boy, Ocho Cinco said that'll make you a Pro Bowler, man.
At McDonald's, that's what Ocho Cinco said. McDonald's all day.
Yeah, McDonald's.
But I'm not saying if you don't. I'm not saying if you do your due diligence and you get taken advantage of, then it's your fault. But I'm saying going through the process of doing your due diligence, we keep saying how do we prevent this, or how do you get right? There's ways to do that. Everyone isn't getting taken advantage of. And again, when you're coming into
the ones that we see,
I think they are. I think they are
too.
It's not
a larger percentage.
18-year-olds don't know. 18-year-olds don't know. I won't. 18-year-old doesn't know what I know at 40. Doesn't know.
Just don't.
They don't know. They don't know finances.
Are you saying that's not true? That's not true. That's not true because most 18-year-olds don't. But if you go to some of the stuff, and EJ can kind of attest to this, we went to an investment seminar, and there was a 19-year-old kid in there, and I'm 42, and he was able to articulate stuff in there that let you know he had a basic level of knowledge. Now his dad took him to it, so you can see he's being fed that in his house at all times. So when
I guarantee that 18-year-old didn't learn that in that session.
You could have
guarantee that 18-year-old didn't get that in that session.
But listen to Ross. That's what Ross said.
He wasn't at an AAU basketball camp. he was at a financial literacy seminar. So it's all about what you feed to the kid too. So instead of his dad signing him up for camps, he said, "No, you need to come to work with me and learn how to make your finances work, how to make more money, how to be more financial literate, so that when the NBA player that gets $10 million comes to you and needs to put it somewhere, you can swindle it, and you know how to do it. Like you learned at 18,
You know how to steal that
move
shit.
money around." Yeah, so when you say at 18 that someone doesn't know what you know at 40, I think that's not a fair comment. We see it from our paradigm, like where we grew up, and I know what I know at 42. I wish I knew at 18, but there are 18-year-olds right now that are being pumped this information. My daughter is 7. I talk to her about currency all the time, so that when she's doing Robux and V-Bucks or virtual currency, that she understands that it's all money. I'm teaching and instilling that into her mind now because I understand the importance of financial literacy myself. I didn't have it at 7. Somebody doing it to me.
I agree with that. That's fair. That's fair. I take that.
And that's
I take
dang on good.
1,000. I take it.
That's so good. I wish you was my dad.
I did not say that.
Like
I did not say that.
I think it just goes back to like when you decide what you want to do at any age. Like if you have your mindset on this is what I'm going to do and this is where I'm going to go, it's not just developing that one skill set to get you to that place. There's multiple things that you need to do in preparation of getting there. And I'm not saying you have to have all the knowledge, but having basic knowledge so that you don't get duped. Not to say that it could never happen, but educating yourself and giving yourself those basic knowledge will assist you when you get further through. Once you make a decision that this is what I want to do, then you get all of the basic knowledge to get you to where you want to be. Period. And that's at any age. That's at any age.
I think
once you make a decision that this is where I want to go, you know that there are lessons that you need to learn to get there and stay on top of your game. And that's what you do.
Facts.
Period.
I think the era of these sports players getting duped is you're going to see less and less just due to the information that is readily available. Right. And unless you're a sheltered kid, not necessarily saying sheltered, but like unless you have people that it's just, you know, your parents and that your parents are insistent on handling all your finances and handling this, being your agent, being this, being that. Outside of those people, I think due to the information that is more and more readily available in this day and age, you're going to see less and less people that are being duped out of their money when it comes
to I disagree.
I kind
of that's not true, man. I'm sorry, it's not true.
Information
man.
doesn't help us make a better decision.
Everybody said we still gonna get swindled, huh?
How does having information not make you have?
No,
it gives you
because application trumps all of that. You can have all the info you want. If you don't know how to apply it, bro, it's as good as nothing.
And I wasn't even making that point. I was just making that when you have more options, it's harder to make a decision. And information age has created a stage where people are dumber today than they were in the 80s.
True story. I coach girls high school. My personal mission statement as a coach is to develop a well-rounded student athlete. And when I say well-rounded, the sports is the last part about it. We do everything possible that has nothing to do with basketball. If it's in the community, if it's in the school, you can't be in my program if you don't do it. So somewhere it's got to start, and the kids have to latch onto it. It's not that I'm not about it. And being well-rounded is not just what you play; it's everything. It's information, accessing technologies, knowing how to obtain things for yourself. Knowing, I pay somebody to do my bank balance, but I'm going to take a look at it before they run out of all my money. It's everything that it encompasses. But at some point, even in terms of being well-rounded, it still starts with that person. You can pay somebody to scratch your back, but at some point you're gonna look at it and make sure they hit the right spot. So, it don't matter where you play, it don't matter how old you are. There's enough out there for everybody to get what they need and to become a complete person in whatever it is they do.
And really quick, before everybody go, I do want to shine a light. I mean, Coach Raver does amazing things with the team here, and like not enough light shines. And I think we talked about like, where do we get it? It's people like her that are doing more. I mean, doing way more. I mean, the stuff, and she wouldn't tell you this, but the stuff she does for these kids at one of the like most deserted, and Miles can speak to this because he knows a lot of the high schools around this area. they're one of the like least budgeted and you know trouble high schools. So it's people like that that's pouring into them. So I think one of the things we ask is like, how do we fix it? You know, we all have a bright light to shine. So if we don't take the time to pour into one or two and hope that they pour into the next, we'll never get there. Because and building back on what Ross said, like we were in this thing and there was an 18-year-old talking about shit that we had to do a sidebar and was like, damn, I mean, to take it even further, we were in this investment summit and they said like, you can come in this investment summit and bring your kids can shadow and sit in this. And this is something that we're not afforded to, and we're not. And like, think about like us in this club, and he's and our hand clap to Ross because my little niece Amira, she is always doing those kind of things and around those things. So one of the questions that we asked, and I think the answer is all of us pouring into one. If you're not mentoring at least one person, you know, putting up for somebody else, because it's like sometimes we don't think that we're in a position to do something, you know. That's where we have to kind of, you know, put the ladder, you know, reach back down. So hand clap.
I know for certain my kids don't get it, so I take pride in giving it to them.
No,
but that can go with a guy, that can go with a girl, that can go with pro, that can go with college, that can go your first 2 years in the NBA, but they got to receive it. There's a bunch of kids who I know it goes one ear and right out the other, and they could care less. That's fine, but I'm gonna tell them either way. It's on them.
Right, and you put it out there, and the thing about that sometimes, it may not sink. That's so you planted that seed, right? And hopefully someone else down the line, like that seed is planted, and then they're gonna come and be like, "Yo, that's what Coach was talking about," or you know, that's what you know.
It's gonna be a core memory.
100%.
They'll unlock it eventually.
Facts, right? Yeah.
And EJ, you like you touched on what my final point was going to be, but you know, everybody said, "What can we do?" Each one teach one. Go to your local school. Mentor somebody. Start with the kids in your household. If they got friends coming over, what are the conversations that you're having with them? You know, I always had conversations with my son and all of his friends when they came over. Like it wasn't just me talking to him, it was me talking to them as a group about everything, preparing them, having the conversations. Well, what are you going to do if this doesn't work out? What's your plan for this? How are you doing this? How are you engaged here? It's having those conversations, and it's shooting them down when they say stupid stuff. Like it's like, let's be real. It's not about catering to them and making it. No, it's a harsh world that we live in, and you need to teach them from the beginning that it's a harsh world. Shoot them down and make them feel stupid sometimes. They'll be like, because the world will do it to you. You getting it from me, and I love you. Somebody else is going to do it to you and do it in a way that makes you feel real stupid.
Yeah. That's how my dad was. My dad was the same thing with me and my best friend, and we grew up like brothers damn near on the opposite side of the street. And he's still in my damn life. He moved out to Vegas and completed high school with me.
There it is. All right, man. So switching up, probably gonna be the final topic, unless there's something you guys got to get off your chest. You know, we definitely always got to show love to, you know what I'm saying, our ladies in sports. I hope some of you caught the WNBA draft that was just recently going on. And there's a lot of things that's kind of just touching and watching that draft. First of all, shout out to our Las Vegas Aces. You know, they picked up some dogs in the thing. And we got Becky Hammond as our coach. So like really excited to see what happens there. Hopefully Coach Rayford coach for them soon. I'm putting that plug out there. But just want to get everybody's thoughts on if they watched it. You know, what they thought. And I think the first thing that I want to kind of shout out or talk about is like, we all, you know, played sports or have at least heard this kind of stat about the percentage that make it to the league, right? We've all heard that. And the WNBA's percentage is disgustingly lower than all the rest of them because there's only 144 girls in the whole damn league. So just kind of want to get y'all thoughts on that, and if anybody watched it, and then I'll just open it up from there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You beat me to it. Half those girls who shined in college just a month ago and that made a name to get drafted will not be playing because there's 12 teams with 12 people. They don't have a reserve. And then the WNBA is still a league of names. The best players in women's basketball are not in the WNBA. Some of them are sitting at home because the WNBA needs names more than they need people, more than they need good basketball. Because that's
or overseas, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say that women's basketball has a huge overseas following, and they do get some serious love playing overseas, where it's not the same for any other sport. Where you can make money in the European basketball league, but it's nothing like the NBA. You got girls that are playing over there overseas making more money than girls in the WNBA, and that's the real issue. It's not someone to go outside of where we're supposed to be the mecca of sports and make more money doing the same thing as somebody from here.
But that's kind of a misnomer though, because European basketball is a whole league that lasts the same as the NBA. So they're getting paid more, but they work more and they do more. There's girls in WNBA making $250,000 a year.
more.
Literally start the second
more.
May and they're done in September. So I make $250,000 in 5 months. That's not bad. But I mean, granted, it's lower, but even in Europe, their basketball season is October to June, sometimes May. So it coincides with that, and their salaries add up for that. Also, in Europe, there's no colleges. You don't play college basketball. You play club ball. So those girls have played with the same people since they were 6, 7, 8 years old, and it's just a whole different beast. So yeah, the WNBA is underpaid, but I kind of get annoyed when they compare it to Europe because we play for 3.5. We don't even have a training camp here. It's 2 weeks. Training camp here is 2 weeks. It starts in May, and the first game is May 17th or something like that.
May
and then you don't make it to the playoffs, you're done. So, but you made.
I hate the narrative in the U.S. with the WNBA.
Right.
I'm with you. Like, it's not about the play. It's not about the women. Like, it is these organizations, these companies, these brands are not investing in the NBA like they are in the NBA, in the WNBA like they are in the NBA, NFL, etc. Like, they do not invest. I think less than 10% of all sponsorship dollars for corporate America are given to women's sports. Less than 10%. Less than 10%.
The only sport in
That's
the United
ridiculous.
States that makes a profit is women's soccer. Every other female sport in the states.
I'm with you, Bertie. I'm with you.
But see, even in that aspect, because I just looked it up because I wanted to know because I was going to touch on that. So even on that aspect, right? Like they're still making significantly less. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, and it's a shame because the women's national team is leaps and bounds,
right? Way better,
way ahead of the women's national team. I don't even watch like MLS because it's a joke league compared to like a world league. My mom's from England, so I grew up watching the Premier League in England, and that's all I've known. But there's a female. Her name is Ada Hegberg, and she's a Norwegian striker, and her annual salary is 360,000 euros.
Wow.
And which is a lot considering. But that was 326 times less than the best paid male athlete in 2019. So there's still that crazy gap when it comes to the best of the best in both leagues. Average, I don't know what the average, like, you know, the average Joe makes in the Premier League. I don't think it's a ton, but it's.
And they're getting paid worse to the worst when in comparison. Like it's bums getting paid more than the best players in that. And so that like you said, that's a sad situation though. So we need somebody need to write some letters, fix that because that ain't right. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for the women though. So
you gotta watch, you gotta go to the games and spend money. Like that's what it is. They'll tell you all day women's sports doesn't make money, so there's no need for companies to invest in them because nobody's going to see the product or the brand. So until we have more people going to women's sports to support them financially, not just watching them on TV, but actually going to the game and buying the merchandise and not just going because you think Chris Paul's going to show up or LeBron's going to show up on the sidelines.
Shit, even if you think that, shit, go.
Well, if that gets you to go, then go. But that's what it is. Like they're not going to spend the money. You know, you talk to any marketer, any sponsorship person. We got one on here. They'll tell you,
hey, no,
brands ain't going if nobody's spending money. So if you want to support these sports, if you want to help them get dollars, you take groups out to them. It's not like the tickets are super duper expensive. Get a group together, have a guys' night out to go support the ladies. They'll tell you, have a girl dad night out. Do something.
Hey, Ebony, I bought a Skylar Dickens jersey. It don't fit right.
Take groups out. It's not like tickets.
It don't fit right. So I can't wear it.
You bought it.
I bought it. I'm saying it don't fit right though, so I can't really.
You bought it. Good job.
Just saying, don't feel right.
Get it signed, put it in the case.
There you go.
The only thing I would add to that, Ebony, I'm with you. I still think it's the bias in the brands and the sponsors that are biased against women's sports for sure. Because one of the things that measures how much they invest in athletes is definitely their social following, IG, Twitter, Facebook, so forth and so on. And some of the female athletes have a much larger following than that of male athletes. Now, LeBron James, nah. Steph Curry, nah, I get it. I'm not talking about those guys. But on average, they still have a large following. They have more than 50% of their audience is women, which are the largest spenders worldwide in the world. That's who makes up spending in the world. Like, nah, like Gatorade, Nike,
but even,
Under Armour, like, nah.
But what you're saying that even enough women aren't going out to support. I'm not just saying you. The support needs to be there. I agree that there is bias against women's sports. There is no doubt, but that bias can be combated when we have the dollars behind it. Just like anything else, money talks, BS walks. So if we want to support women's sports, then we need to go out there and watch women's sports live in person and spend the money. That will require the brands to go in and say it is worth us spending our dollars to be there because the viewership is there. I can get new people by going there. If nobody's at the game, there's no reason for me to spend dollars with the majority of the teams. All I have to do is hit the LA Sparks and I'm good. So that's what we have to do. We have to go out and support women's sports, period.
And Brian, you nailed it too, because I just said that. That's part of the reason why the brand of basketball in the WNBA is not that good, is because a mediocre female basketball player with 500,000 Instagram followers is going to be in the league, whether she's good or not, because people follow her. But at the same time, a better basketball player who got cut is sitting at home, but would make the game better. But nobody's coming to watch her because she has no name. But Kelsey Plum, who has 3 million followers on YouTube and whatnot, she's going to stay in the league until she decides to walk away because that's the name that they know. But it doesn't necessarily make the sport any better.
That's fair. I'm with you. For sure.
He's shopping. You can't stop him from shopping. I appreciate y'all, man. This has been really good. Appreciate everybody's opinions. And like James said, teamwork makes the dream work. We gotta keep pulling each other up, man. So I love these conversations every month. So I appreciate y'all jumping on with us.
How many of y'all in Vegas?
Appreciate you inviting me, Miles.
Yes,
Miles,
sir, brother.
Always
appreciate you, James.
All right. Well, hey, this is another episode of the live. So one thing I am going to ask everybody that's on the live is it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and it is on Twitter. So find whatever platform, take the link of that show, share it out to your circle, because we need more people to, be live chatting, hear what we're talking about, because we always fall into some great conversations. We have great people on here, so please continue to share that. And, we definitely look forward to having you here. We had another packed house, definitely looking into some things because we can only have so many people in the room and there's people waiting to get on. So I appreciate you all taking the time to do this, but please continue to share this message so we can kind of get it out to everybody. So until the next one, I definitely appreciate you. And like we always say, stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
For sure.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.